it would come down and slide, come down through the track, and you just drive home. This is why. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, God bless that car dealer that he happened to have protection already. These are why we're thankful for the police. But when you have protection on hand, you are able to care for yourself and your family, your loved ones. What you alluded to earlier, I was at the 2017 CMT Music Awards event with Pepsi Summer and Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch was launching their brand, and they've since come out with a handheld device called the Nintendo Switch, which was what was the game everybody was playing for a while?
Oh,
Wii, and everybody.
Oh my gosh!
So this was Nintendo Switch's answer to Wii. So nobody ever talks about Wii anymore. What happened to Wii? Wii. If you're an advertiser, we'll talk about you guys again on our podcast, and you can sponsor us, and we'll talk about Wii again because nobody's talking about Wii.
Can I share a quick Wii story?
Sure.
So I was playing with a former girlfriend's son. We were playing, I think, tennis, and I instructed him to goof around and do some spin moves, and just make, have fun.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have it tightened to his wrist.
Oh no.
He busted a brand new TV.
Oh gosh.
He said flew
The
off.
flying Wii. Well, we won't tell that story. If you become an advertiser on our podcast, we won't talk about that one.
No.
You ruined our chances, man. I'm just kidding.
Can we change the subject one more time and talk about crayons? If you were a crayon color, what color would you be?
Well, I'd probably be blue. But Keith Urban sang that song, "Blue Ain't Your Color." So then sometimes I feel bad, like I shouldn't pick blue because of that song. But
I would be red-orange.
Red-orange? Well, they say that is like the color of like peace or something like that. But
continue with your story.
Yes. So
he's like, where were we? This guy's so ADD.
You heard that random strike out of my banjo there. Sometimes that does that. But long story short, I went to this event. We shot like a big TV commercial type thing with Pepsi and CMT, because Pepsi was sponsoring the CMT Awards for 2017. And if you don't know, I play country music. But all that to say, we were there at that event. And CMT brought us all in to do this like video to use for the marketing promotions of it. We get done, they tell us, take a whole bunch of photos and social media videos and stuff while we're at the event, but they didn't want us to post it till at the end, till we got done with the whole video.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So CMT's there shooting the video shoot. We get done. I go right after. I get in my car, drive down to East Nashville, where we were at. We were at the Urban Cowboy, which is a great Airbnb place, by the way. Very, very, very innovative. Go Google Urban Cowboy Airbnb.
Great soundtrack in the movie too, by the way.
Well, I get there, get down to East Nashville, where the Urban Cowboy is, and I'm on the corner of Gallatin Avenue and Eastland, and right in front of the stores there, right on that corner. I park, and it was warm, late spring. And so this is 2017, like late May, early June of 2017. And I'm just sitting there posting these photos and videos, and all of a sudden I had my window down probably like that much. And I hear this guy walk up, and he comes up on my driver's side, and he says, "Hey, would you like to help us out?" And I was like, "Would you like to help us out?" I was like, "No, that's the wrong question." Because most of the time when somebody approaches you for money or for help, they know they have a small window to tell you what they need. So what they do is they're like, "Dude, you got 50 cents? Dude, you got $5? I need to get down to the bus stop. Hey, I'm trying to get back to Memphis. I need $30." Like, they don't say, "Would you like to help us out?" Because
no, I mean, you're right. This sounds too eager and too what's the word? Like, I really need the money. Too bad.
Well, and plus what happens is if you just like, "No, I don't know if I want to help you out." What? But if you say, I need $5," like they just tell you right away.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. And as soon as he said that, I got this horrible feeling in my stomach. And I turned the car on to begin to leave, and there was a gun in the window.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, "Get out the car, get out the car, get out the car.
Was it just one dude?
It was two dudes.
Okay.
So this is what I thought. I looked out the window, and there's a skinny, tall dude, black guy, standing there, and he's got the gun, and then he's like, he gets me out of the car, and my car is running, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna slug this dude. And he was so skinny, I was just like, I need to get out of this. I need to do something to get out of this. And I just thought I could just haul off and hit him one, right? And he says, don't try to pull nothing. I will shoot you. And I looked over to my left, and there was another guy standing there, leaning up against his bike. And they all had, by that point, they had all pulled their shirts up over their noses, like these t-shirt bandanas they made. And by that point, I looked to my left, and there's another dude, and they all had super long shorts on and super long t-shirts. And I thought, there's another gun here. Because
yeah.
if I had tried to pull something, there's no way I would have, they would have both jumped me. Well, once they said, put your hands up. So I put both my hands up, and they made me back away from the car about 20 feet. And the car door's open, the car's running, and I look up over the other side of the car, and there's three other dudes.
Oh my gosh.
So I realized that I'm like surrounded by 5 thugs. My
You had a
banjo's
nice car too. That probably didn't help. That might have, right?
Yeah.
You had like a nice BMW.
No, I wish it was a BMW.
I thought it was a BMW.
Well, it was a Toyota Avalon.
Okay.
So I must have obviously looked like I had money or something. But they were the same guy that hit me up had been doing a rash of carjackings in East Nashville, and so. Long story short, I'm standing there. They take my phone. The guy says this. He says, we're gonna go to the bank and go to the ATM. And he starts patting me down, right? And he didn't realize that he was making this sound every time he patted me down. And he kept saying, we're going to the ATM. And he was literally walking around me with the gun on me in a circle and patting my pockets and everything. I thought, is he looking for a weapon? And then I realized he was looking for my wallet. But because 10 years prior to that, I had stopped carrying a traditional wallet. I had been carrying this aluminum thing here. It's like a clip that just your debit cards and all that insert into. It's $10. I got it from As Seen on TV offer section of like Walgreens or something. No, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
Long story short, I, had that in my pocket. He never figured out my debit card was right there in my pocket, in the front pocket. So he gets frustrated.
Wow.
Takes my phone, snatches it. They all jump in my car. My banjo's in there, my iPad, my MacBook Pro, my acoustic guitar, and my banjo are all in the trunk or in the back seat or something, right? And they drive off with my car. And the police was literally across the street standing in front of one of the other stores. So all that to say, thankfully, Detective Griffin in Nashville got a hold of these guys. They committed another robbery that same night, got picked up, and he got one of the associates of this original guy that robbed me to confess.
Oh wow. Okay.
They gave up the location of my car, and I was able to get my car back, get everything back. It took about a week. Thankfully, there was no harm to me. During that whole time, I just remember everything going into slow motion and just kind of like I remember just being completely at peace, but I just remember kind of like, oh my God, this is like,
is this really happening to me?
Yeah, just kind of, I just remember.
Was it dark out?
It was completely dark.
Because you were waiting to share the, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had to go to cross the street to Kroger, talk to the officer. They called the police. Then there was somebody there who heard me talking to the police, and they offered to give me a ride home or give me an Uber home. And I literally, prior to that, I had to message people on Facebook to see if there was anybody that could pick me up and give me a drive home.
Oh, right, because they, but they didn't get away with any of your cards, correct? They just got your banjo. And I'm not making light of what they got, but they didn't get any of your possessions that you showed me.
No, they didn't get my debit card or anything like that. Because that would have then turned into a kidnapping situation, because I would have been
right.
back
That's
in
what I
the car,
thought. Okay.
And they would have been trying to get me to go to the ATM. But yeah, God is good. Saved my life.
Wow.
I didn't try to Jackie Chan my way out. I had quite a bit of. I had a couple nights during that week where I would be sound asleep and I would just bolt right up, wake.
I bet.
From that, and so it took me a little bit to get over the anxiety of it, but
Hopefully those guys are still locked up.
yeah, I think there was a whole team of them, and to go from walking on foot to uh, getting involved with somebody in a car and to strategically remove them from their car and end up in their car and driving it away. It's pretty crazy.
Sounds pretty well thought out.
From a
Yeah.
logistics standpoint. But all that to say, that's my little scare.
And we both came out unscathed.
Unscathed.
Yay!
Yes, so
Little PTSD, but
a little
I wake up in a
PTSD.
cold sweat as well.
yeah, still alive. That's the big blessing of that there. Speaking of which, did you see the president's coronavirus?
Is this that thing that's going around where if you drink too many the beers with the lime in it?
Well, I mean, I hear.
Oh, it's like the coronavirus.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, some people don't like Corona. Some people don't like the Mexican beer. I drank Corona. They tasted pretty good.
I did not see the speech.
Did not see the speech. Well, he tried to bring some peace. Especially, have you seen the stock market? It's dropped like, I don't know, maybe 1,500 points or more, over 2,000 points or more in the last 3 days.
Oh, man.
Because they keep saying, is it going to be, is it going to be a pandemic? Is it going to be, something that, is like, gets out of control and eventually, becomes way worse than it is. And I guess what the president was trying to say was that it's something like a flu, though with a few more complexities. They say the people that passed away in China, I guess a significant number of them were either elderly or they were already sick, and then once that took place, they did live. They passed away. So, in the United States, I guess there's only like 50 cases, and they're all like self-contained, all quarantined, and like a lot of those people are actually recovering and actually haven't died.
Are they still quarantined on the cruise ship?
No, I believe I heard on the news that is actually being taken care of, and
Can you imagine everybody walking around town wearing a mask, like at all times, 24/7? That would be.
and I've seen a few people walking around with a mask, but I mean, I don't know. It could be other things that they're fighting with.
Well, I'm saying if it grew to the epic proportions of travesty,
Mhm. I mean, I think that's what like being worried about that. I keep thinking, because people are like, well, it could be. I saw a little post on Facebook. Oh, it could get to 40 to 70% of the people. It was on CNN. I saw that 40 to 70% of the population could be. And I'm like, the idea is that they're containing it, right, and that they're actually fighting against it. So the idea is no. There's let's have a mindset that says no. This thing is going to get contained, going to get a vaccine or what? Because Johnson & Johnson's working on a vaccine, by the way, and we're going to make a great effort. We're going to drastically minimize this thing. I hope that's what people are thinking. I hope that's what our government's thinking, because my thing is like to stop expecting it to just continue to spread. But Italy's having quite a scare with it as well.
Oh man.
So yeah, it's kind of a thing where I want to. Speaking of which, I want to highlight something. I work with.
Did you need a crayon?
Yes, most certainly. Give me a blue one. Actually, this. Speaking of the color blue, Map International, they have a blue logo, and but the biggest thing I love about Map International, their logo or their name stands for Medical Assistance Program, and they are an international charity listed by Forbes as one of the top charities, and they're what they do is they care for people that are like in third world countries that don't have access to medications, that can't get access to basic things like, medicine to prevent sinus infections, or, just basic, very basic medical treatments. And so they have a charity that serves over 13 to 20 million people a year. And they've served in crises like the Alabama tornadoes that hit last year. They served in the recent Puerto Rico earthquake. They've served in the Mozambique cyclone that some of you probably heard about. Right now, they are the front runner and on the front lines of fighting the coronavirus. And right now, if you want to help them, they airlifted like some 200,000 units of medical supplies like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Some of the items they listed were in the millions that they were airlifting with the help of FedEx, UPS, Johnson & Johnson. These are partners, the Weather Channel, especially after weather disasters. They are one of the first to respond. So they serve both the United States and worldwide medical disaster relief. And I was able to go down to Brunswick, Georgia, where they're located, and do like what they call disaster health kit packaging. And they had like a bar of soap, a thing of shampoo, a thing of deodorant, a toothpaste, a washcloth, a first aid kit, I'm trying to think of what other items they had in there. A Ziploc bag to keep the washcloth in. They were explaining that one of the biggest preventions of disease is just simply giving these people a bag, especially after disaster, with these items in it, just to help them with their hygiene.
Right.
Just to keep disease down. So I got to actually do that and actually pack those at their headquarters in Brunswick, Georgia. But they're on the front lines fighting this coronavirus in Wuhan, China. And you can visit their website. I'm an artist advocate for them, and what they do is they give you the ability to either do a one-time donation or do a monthly thing, of your choosing. They do have little blocks of, different dollar items to select from, but you can go on there and you can see their research. Our CEO, Steve Sterling, is often featured on the Weather Channel, especially after weather disasters.
Is he the one that's always acting, pretending the wind is stronger than it actually is, and he gets blown into the ocean? Is that the guy you're talking about?
That was funny. Yeah,
it happens every other day, doesn't it?
I think it's like when these hurricanes and different things hit, it's like, how much more dramatic can we make it? How much more fun?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, we're in such danger. It's like, well, like your news organization, your news operation sent you down.
Did you see this thing? I saw this the other day. This happened in North Carolina, I think, where they're talking about some snowstorm, I believe. And the guy went on Facebook Live, the reporter went on Facebook Live, didn't realize that he had the filters on Facebook, so he's displaying on Facebook Live with a cat face and a giant googly eyes. And I'm like,
gosh.
Is this for real?
That's funny. I mean, social media, what can we say? It's really displayed our weakest links, but our also most funniest
That's true.
Characteristics,
Yeah.
I guess. But speaking of MAP International, we'll get that link to you. It's called map.org /Michael Ricks. And my last name is spelled R-I-C-K-S.
The guy with two first names.
Yeah, well, I actually have three first names. Michael James Ricks. Three first
jealous.
names. But, I don't know what that means. It's like I can't detect what advantage that has if it is given to anyone.
You're a popular guy. You're just getting phone calls and messages.
I know my phone is like.
Is that your
blowing up
agent
here.
calling?
I wish. No, I have a great agent with the Hurt Agency, and they put me in some commercials and stuff. I have a great agency.
I'm with the Dan Talon Group, and I'm hoping for more work down the line.
By the way, you just did a commercial, or what was it? You played a doctor or something?
Well, that wasn't a Just. That was actually a couple of years ago, but I had like the, what do you call it? Share your memory from past years.
Ah.
It was for ESPN. I played a doctor for a documentary on a basketball coach who was diagnosed with some serious illness, almost died, and he came back and didn't die. So
Wow.
It aired as a promotional piece for some ESPN documentary. I was in another ESPN documentary last year for a golfer.
Ah.
and I don't know his name, and I'm embarrassed. But yeah, so
Well, we'll tell you a little bit about podcast. Our podcast is not to take away from your acting success, as we are both actors, and you're in radio. You work with the radio show Real Country.
radio format, Real Country for the Westwood One Network.
Yes, yes, and I do country music, and I'm in a national commercial for the Bank of America promotion for Ken Burns' country music TV docuseries on PBS. So we're kind of like almost famous.
Speak for yourself.
I was trying to put some famousness on top of you, brother, to put some famous on you. Like, hey, my brother's famous too.
I like how you say that. Yeah. But speaking about that Ken Burns documentary, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about that. Like, I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen it in its entirety, but the people that have seen it from start to finish say it's amazing. And you can see this guy in the commercial for Bank of America singing Wagon Wheel, which, by the way, just won an award, I think 8 times triple platinum or something like that.
I think it's gone 5 times. It's Darius Rucker is the first artist, first male country artist to take a song like Wagon Wheel and make it 5 times platinum. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. He was just awarded last week, at the Country Music Hall of Fame here in downtown Nashville. By the way, we're actually in a church, a Civil War church.
Can you imagine what the original artists of that song are thinking now? Was it Steelers Wheel that did it originally?
No, it was Old Crow Medicine Show.
Old Crow Medicine Show. And I'm like, because they didn't turn it into a huge hit.
No, I mean, they gave it to, Darius. Darius actually heard it, and he called his label head and said, hey, I've heard this song, and I saw it performed by a high school band in a gym, and he said, I want to record it. He heard it from a high school band, right? So he called him, and he said, I want to record the song. And he said, well, we don't know. He says, just get used to it. I'm recording it, something to that effect. And so Darius recorded it, and it was a massive smash. So he got the award. I mean, it's probably his biggest song, really.
Yeah.
And it's been a huge success for him. But speaking of which, we're just south of Nashville, and we're in this old Civil War church called St. Paul's Episcopal Church.
Historic Franklin, Tennessee.
Yes, and we're doing this Music City Storytellers. And next week we'll have
Audrey McLaughlin from NBC's The Voice is going to be on our show.
And
She's
she was
really
on-
super excited, was bummed out that she couldn't make it today, but she's in the process of moving, I guess. But she's got some great stories. She's also an anti-bullying advocate. She probably could share some about that as well.
Well, we'll look forward to hearing from her story. We're trying to do this once a week. We're still nailing down like what day every week we dispense this podcast and put it out there. But it's on podbean.com. It's now on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So you can find it. Just look up Music City Storytellers, and you'll catch me and Matt doing another episode here. We're coming basically to the end of this episode, and we thank you guys for joining us. And we're excited as we find more guests and different people out there. I'm actually doing a show.
Oh, we were supposed to talk about John Schneider.
Yes.
We can do that real quick, right?
Yes. Well, John Schneider, if you guys are not familiar with Mr. Bo Duke from Dukes of Hazzard, and he's also in...
The blonde one, right? Not the brunette guy.
The blonde guy, yes. He's in the Haves and the Have-Nots on the OWN network, Oprah's network, on OWN network on Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots.
Oh, wow.
And so he invited me after I did a benefit concert with him at Kimbrough's Pick & Parlor, which is a small little music venue down here in downtown Franklin. And he invited me to play with the Whiskey Bent with him. And that's my first major show in the city of Nashville. Up on the 3rd floor, played in front of a bunch of radio promoters. And I want to personally thank Mr. John Schneider, too, for that opportunity and opening that wonderful opportunity up to me. And I got to meet his team and got to see his new book. He's producing and shooting a movie called Stand On It. And he's got a thing called Bo's Extravaganza in Louisiana that's coming up April 4th and 5th.
Now, he lives here, or he lives in... Where does he live?
Yeah, I believe he does the part-time living thing here and then also in Louisiana.
Okay, because I know they have a replica of the General Lee down in Leaper's Fork.
Ah, yes, they do. As a matter of fact, he had the General Lee down on Broadway in downtown Nashville that night.
Really?
He has a thing called John Schneider's Hideaway. So go to his website and look up John Schneider, and go to his Hideaway event once a month. He comes down, brings a bunch of different bands out, and does kind of like a VIP thing. You can get to shake his hand, hang out with him, get pictures, get all kinds of cool merch that he's got there, his new book and all kinds of different stuff. Get an autograph or whatever. Get pictures. Great guy, great people.
Did he teach you how to do the hood slide and get in through your car through the window? Did he teach you that?
Well, that particular day it was like raining and kind of like not so.
I read somebody got hurt doing that originally. I think it was him, or it might have been Tom Wopat. Is that his name?
I don't know. It's
his co-star. One of them got hurt doing that.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the other thing too, they were always like getting in and out of the window and all that stuff too. But yeah, you guys got. Well, speaking of which, he shouted me out on social media, and so you can go on my Instagram, the Michael Ricks, and see that. It's big orange picture on the in the video there, so you'll recognize it right away. But long story short, I'm doing a full show to benefit the coronavirus with MAP International this Saturday at 9 o'clock. I mean at 8 to 9. What am I talking about? 7 to 9. And I've got too much in my brain. And I'll have a full band. I'll be on stage with this banjo, playing a bunch of banjo tunes, covers, originals, and your favorites. And look forward to seeing everybody. You can go to Eventbrite and type in Michael Ricks or the legendary Kimbrough's Picking Parlor. And you can see it on my Facebook page and social media. If you go to my Instagram, the link is actually in my profile. But by the way, what is your Instagram?
It is Matt1Hubble1. And my name is H-U-B as in boy, E-L-L. And the only reason I say that is because a lot of people think it's spelled like the telescope. H-U-B-B-L-E.
Well, yeah, you guys can check us both out. And don't misspell his name.
B-B-E-L-L.
And come out and see this show. If you live in Franklin, live in Nashville, Spring Hill, the surrounding areas, Franklin, come out and see us. We're going to be raising money. It's with a specific segment of the show. MAP International Director of Donations is coming down to help me do the event, and we're doing a concert along with that. The tickets are $8 online. You go to the Eventbrite link, and $10 at the door. So
you never know who might show up.
And you'll hear me sing this song. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you go. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a south. Yeehaw, indeed. John Schneider would approve. Come back and see us again, Music City Storytellers. Thanks for hanging out with us for this second episode. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye, you all. Not y'all, because I'm from the north.
You can say y'all. Bye, you guys.